Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the next video. So in this video we are going to discuss about an off-campus coding question which is asked in SHL Private Limited. So it was asked on 5th February 2022. So basically if you are preparing for any off-campus MNC round, I mean the coding round, then you might encounter the same problem. So just see this video completely, and this was the problem which was actually asked in examination, and for proof I have already included the screenshot which is in front of you. So I'll just zoom in guys so that you can see the question. So I'll just scroll it down a little. I think it's not visible now also. So let me just zoom in again. Okay, so now it should be visible. And this problem was basically simple guys, and there were two problems based on arrays itself. So I'll just show you both the problems and what is the algorithm to solve them. So what are all the different methods in which we can solve. So yes, now I think it's visible, clearly visible, right? Okay, so you can see over here they have given first instructions like how it should be and what you need to do. So all those things they have just mentioned. Okay guys, so yeah, one sec. Okay, fine. So now it is visible clearly. And the question says something like this: an e-commerce company is planning to give a special discount on all its products to its customers for the Christmas holiday. The company passes data on its stocks of n product types. So it has got n number of products, and it passes the data on those n products. After that, the data for each product type represents the count of customers who have ordered the given product. So data represents how many customers have ordered a particular product. And after that, if the data k is positive, then it shows that mm, the product has been ordered by k customers. So if whatever the k value is given, if it is positive, then it shows that k number of customers have ordered the product, that particular product, whatever is there, and is in the stock. So it is available in the stock if the number is positive. Okay, if the data k is negative, then it shows that it has been ordered by k customers but is not in the stocks. So the value or the data which is in negative shows that it is ordered by k number of people but it is not available in the stock, so its value is negative in fact. Okay, so after that the company will fulfill the stock from the warehouse. So for that they will go to the warehouse and take the product. All right, fine. So they are planning to offer a discount amount A for each product. The discount value will be distributed to the customers who have purchased that selected product. The discount will be distributed only if the decided amount A can be divided by the number of orders for a particular product. So it is fairly simple question guys, and when you see the test cases then you will come to understand what you exactly need to do. So I'll just come to the input, and here you can see write an algorithm for the sales team to find the number of products out of n for which the discount will be distributed. So that means we need to find out in given array how many elements are divided by the particular discount element A. So in the sense, the first line of input consists of an integer, that is number of products, representing the number of different types of products n. There are n types of products. The second line consists of n space separated integers, that is order 0, order 1 up to order n minus 1, representing the current status of the stock for the orders of the respective product types. So for all n products they have got n minus 1, that is from 0 they are starting. So n minus 1 customers have ordered. Okay, fine. The last line consists of an integer, that is discount amount. What discount should be given, representing the discount amount that will be distributed among the customers. So your task is to print an integer representing the number of products out of n for which the discount will be distributed. So it is fairly simple guys. What you just want to do is they will be giving you like this: input is 7. After that the input the array they will be giving, which indicates the products number of customers who have ordered the product. So product 1 has been ordered by 9 customers, product 2 has been ordered by 13 customers but it is not in stock, so that's why it is having negative value. Product 3 has been ordered by 8 people, product 7 has been ordered by 7 people, product 4 has been ordered by How many people? 7 people, but it is also not there in the product stock because its value is negative here. And similarly for the fifth one and sixth one, 18, and it is in the stock, and last one is 10 customers and it is also in the stock, and output is 2. So now you will ask like how the output is 2, and also they are given one more data, that is 18, which means 18 is the discount which they are offering. Okay, but what you need to do is we just need to find out on how many products the discount will be applied. Okay, so one condition they have given in the question, as we have said. So if the discount amount is divided by, completely divisible by the whatever the number of products, that means take each positive number and try to divide it by 18. I mean, take 18 and try to divide it by 9. So if it is completely divisible, then I say that it is available and discount is applied. For example, 18 by 9. So 18 divided by 9, 9 ones are 9 twos, it will go to 0. So 9 is an valid one. So 13th I will not check because it's a negative number. 8 I will check. 18 by 8 is divisible completely. No, it is not divisible. So I will not consider this one. Again go to the 7, skip 7 and skip 8 because they are negative. After that 18 by 18 completely divisible. Fine. So what I just trying to say is, I just show you over here. Okay, I'll just write 2 lines guys so that you can understand. Okay, so first I will consider 18 like this. First take 18, after that divide it by 9. So it is completely divisible, so its remainder is 0. Fine, this is one condition true. After that 13 is negative, don't consider. 8 is there. So if I do 18 by 8, whether it is completely divisible, not, so don't consider this one. Again 7 skip, 8 skip because it is not a negative, positive number. So then go to the 18th one. So 18 divided by 18 if I do, then you can see that it is completely divisible and its remainder will go to 0. So that means it's a valid condition. In the same way, if I try to divide 18 by 10, so if I try to divide 18 by 10, this is not completely divisible. So it is also not a possible condition. So only two conditions are true over here, that is 18 by 9 and 18 by 8. So that's why the output is 2. So it is fairly a simple question guys, just a for loop and one division method. So this is all about the question and how we should proceed. So the first thing is that take one for loop which will iterate through all the elements, and just divide, take this 18 as key and key divided by array of I, that is array of first element. If it is completely divisible, increment the result by 1, otherwise don't increment the result. So that's it in the program guys. I will just try this program in the VS, I mean in Java I will write. So after that guys, there is also one information like how they will be giving. So this is how the dashboard of the programming will be looking like. Okay, so you can see 43. I mean for two questions they have given around 60 minutes. So 30 minutes question. So 30 minutes for each question. Sample code to read. So all those things they will be giving. So import Java buffer. So they will be having one online editor. So in that same thing, so you can see string and arguments. They are passing only one string over here. After that, so all those things you just need not to worry. Each and everything will be predefined over here. Okay. So whatever your work will be, it is in the public static void main and string arguments. Here it is. Okay. So you can see write your code here and it will be taking one argument which is of type string. Okay. So this is how the things will be, and you just need to take the input and whatever you are assigning. So those variables they will be giving in question, that's it. So that's why I will take with the my own variables because I'm not using the online editor. So I will I will show you the same test case guys. For that I just come over here. Okay, so what they have given, number of products 7, then array, then key value. So I same thing I will just take, and you can see already I have made one empty project where I will start writing the code. And here first thing is the number of products. Okay, so I will take it as int. So int n equal to 7 they are given. So this indicates number of products. Okay, so these are number of products guys. After that I need to take the array which represents the products. So it is of type integer type, and let us say its name is array 1. Okay, and after that the elements of the array 1, so they are mentioned here: 9, minus 13, 8, minus 7, minus 8, 18 and 10. So all these elements I am taking here, guys, but while writing the code in actual exam, the editor will be giving the whatever compiler is there, it will give them as an input. So you need not to take all these things. You just need to take this int n, and after that you just need to find out like what is that. You can just write it over here. Okay, so yeah, after that the elements I will mention. First one is 9. After that minus 13 is there. After that 8 is there. After that minus 7 is there. Then minus 8 is there. Followed by 18 and 10. So these are the elements which are present. If you can just cross check over here. Okay, so after that key value is 18. That means the discount amount. Okay, so that is also type integer and its value is 18. Fine. So now I have taken the key value. I will take another variable which will store the result. So I will initialize it to 0. So this is all about the first few steps to take the input, guys. Now once you are done with taking the input, so 50% work has been done. Now I will use one for loop to iterate through all the elements. So int I equal to 0. From 0 I will start, and I should be less than array1 dot length and I plus plus. So this is to iterate through all the elements, and here it should be less than. Fine. Next thing is I have to use one for loop which shows that so I need to write 18 divided by all these elements. So what I will write? First I will write key divided means modulus key divided by array 1 of I. So array 1 of I means it is pointing to 9 currently because I is 0. So array 1 of 0 is 9. So 18 by 9 it will check. So if this particular thing is equal to 0, that means the whatever product is there, it is completely divisible and I need to increment the count. Okay, fine. And after that I have also another condition which says that array 1 of I should be greater than 0. Because I should not consider negative numbers, what I will do, array 1 of I should be greater than 0 means only for positive values it will enter inside this loop, otherwise it will skip. So two conditions we have managed. Negative values it will not take, and greater than 0 only it will take. Okay, fine. So what you need to do, result equal to result. You can just write result plus plus also. Okay, so it's a independent function. Independent you can say the variable. Okay, fine. So after that this will be enough, guys. It will print the result for us, and I will just write one thing, sys out, and here I will write result. So after this for loop you have to write. So if I save and run this particular thing, then you should be able to see the proper output. You can see 2 is the output here. Okay, so after that if I add something over here like let us say again 36. If I add 36 or in the sense I will just add 4 and it should be 8, that is number of elements, and yes, I just try to run this one and still it is still it will be 2 only because 18 is not completely divisible by 4. So that's it, guys, and yeah, this is a pretty much simple question which you can follow. So I have already shown you the test case, and I will make it a default one, that is whatever test case they have given, the same test case I have passed here, so you can see, right? Okay, so that's it in this video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And after this I will be uploading one more video which is for the same company, for same SHL Private Limited. I have that question over here, and you can see this was the second question, guys, and it was pretty much simple, but it was a little tricky. Okay, so the company Digital Secure Data Transfer Solutions provides the data encryption. Or else I will do one thing, guys, I will actually solve both the questions in this itself. Okay, so I will not stop this video here. I thought of doing 2 videos for this one, but yes, it is only 14 minutes, and I will solve both the questions here itself, guys. Okay, so fine, well, let me just solve that one as well. Alright, guys, so the question reads something like this: The company Digital Secure Data Transfer Solutions provides data encryption and data sharing services. Their process uses a key K for encryption when transmitting a number. So they are using key K for encryption. Encryption in the sense providing security to encrypt a number. Each digit in the number is replaced by the kth digit after it in the number. So what they are doing is basically each digit K in the number is replaced by another digit which is in the same number. It is at the kth position. So when you see the test case, you will come to understand. Don't worry. Then the series of digits is considered in a cyclic fashion for the last k digits. So it is in the cyclic fashion. That means they are repeating for last k digits. Fine. Write an algorithm to find the encrypted number. So if I apply all these points and if I encrypt the data, so what will be the encrypted data they are asking? Got it? So once you get the problem properly, then the output, getting the output is pretty much simple, but it is not that simple as that of the previous question, guys. Here you need to do a hell lot of things here. So I'll just show you all those things. Okay. So the first line of the input consists of an integer data representing the number. The second line consists of an integer and key representing the k. So here the first line consists of an integer number, that is the data which is at the transmitter side. Okay, so after that, note that it is not an array, guys. The first line of an input consists of an integer data. They are saying that it's an integer data. That means it is a continuous number like 25,143. So this is the encrypted integer, not an array. So if it was an array, then I could have easily solved this one. But here it is an integer and I need to convert that integer into an array in order to perform my operations. So that thing, how I am doing all those things, I'll just show you. Okay, so the second line consists of an integer and key. So second line consists of an integer which is actually a key. That means I need to replace all the elements by respective 3 positions ahead of those. Okay, so that thing I have to do, and here you will be able to understand it properly in this example. Let me just use the digital pen. Actually I'm writing with the help of mouse, guys. This is not actually a pen. Okay, so you might have observed like I'm writing a code, right? Yes. So okay, fine. Now I will be having 2. So whatever input number they have given, I will just write it over here. 2, 5, 1, after that 4 and 3. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 numbers which they have given. So now what I need to do is, so this number is, guys, first number. Let me just write like this. So this is first number, this is second one, third and fourth and fifth number. So what they are saying is I should get this output. How I am getting? Basically, what is the key value? Key value is 3. So for this element, what I need to write is take k number of steps ahead and write that element instead of this element. In the sense, k is 3. So I have to move 3 times here. So first time, second time and third time I will reach here. So that 4 I have to write. So from 2 to 4, how many positions are there? 1, 2 and 3. So these are the 3 positions. Fine. Now I will go to the next element and 5 positions I have to take. So here 1, 2 and 3. So I will be writing 3 here. Okay, fine. After that, again go to the one element. So here take 1, 2 and there is no element. That's why they have said cyclic. In the sense we have to come again to the first element here. So from here 1, 2 and 3. Third element is 2. So I have to take 2 now. After that, if I go to the fourth element, you have to check again 3 positions. 1, after that 2, after that 3. That means 5 will come here. Fine. After that, if I go to the last element, guys, then you can see from this I will be starting 1, then 2, then 3. So I will be coming up to here. So this is the actual output, guys. You will be getting like this. Okay, so this is how the things will be. Fine. So this is how the things will be working, and this is the actual logic, guys. Okay. So now I hope you understood what should be the logic, and whatever k value they will give, you just need to go in front of this one. So if you think of this one, like, guys, they have given one number. So the first step will be to create that number into an array. Okay, so create that number into an array, and Yes, if it was a string and if it contains spaces, then I could have used split at space method, so which is easily done with the help of built-in method. But here it is a number and I cannot use the string method, and also they have got no space in between. So you can see these digits are completely compact and there is no space in between, so I cannot go with that one also. So for this, in order to implement this one, so the first step is to convert it into a array. And also I cannot convert directly to array because guys, I don't know how many elements are in this one, because it is number 25143. By seeing I can say that 1 2 3 4 and 5 digits are there, and I can take a array of size 5 and I can store all those elements. But how should the compiler will know that 5 elements are there? So it is not possible to do with the help of array, because it is possible that they will give some other test case. Yes, it is, and hidden test cases will be there, so they will be having some 10 numbers. Then you have created an array with only 5 digits or capacity of 5, so then it will not work. So here instead of array we have to use array list, which is growable in size. So we know that concept, right? So we have to make use of array list. So what we'll be basically doing is, guys, let me just erase this thing and I will show you how to take the elements. So basically it is a fairly simple step, guys. First, just take this number 25143, just divide this number by 10. So this is very important, guys, carefully listen. So what I'm explaining, it is very important. So once you know this one, then writing a code is piece of cake. So divide this by 10. So when you divide this by 10, it will go completely and it will leave some remainder. That remainder will be what, guys? That remainder will be the last digit. In the sense, how much it will be? So 10 to the, so it will go by 10 to the 20, it will go, right? So I could have done it in this single step also, but yes, I will show you. 10 to the, after 25 minus 20 will be 5, and after that I will take this guy, that is 1. After that 2 5 10 5 is 50 I will get. Okay, fine. So 1 will be left. After that 4, next take that guy, and 10 4 is 10 1 is 10, because it's 14. So 10 1 is 10, and how much is left? 4 is left, and take that 3 down. Again 10 4 is I can take. So 10 4 is I will take, and this will go to 3 now. So you can see whatever remainder which you are able to see over here, which is actually the last digit of the number. Surprising, yes? So yes, this is the beauty of dividing with 10, guys. So whatever you divide, this is the last digit and you have just got this result. And take one array list and add it to the array list. So let us say array list is ARR and list. I'm not able to write, guys, because as I said earlier, I'm writing with the mouse. Okay, fine. So you are done with this thing. Now whatever this value is there, just take it again. So 2 5 1 and 4, again divide it with 10. So what is just, guys, here 25143 is there. So if you divide it 10 by 2514, whatever there is after like 40, 3 is left, so that will be the answer. So in this case also, if I start dividing each and everything, then it will be like, see here, again one more step I will say, I will show you. So 10 to the 20 I will take. Okay, so then 5, okay, so how much 5 is left? After that 1 I will take down. 10 5 is 50. After that 1 is left, again 4 is there, again I will 10 1s 10. Okay, so then remainder is 4. So this is actually the second digit. You can see over here, this is the second digit. And again divide this 251 by 10. So this is actually how we should be getting the digits of an array, guys. So divide it by 10, how much it will go? It will go by 25, and 10 25 is 250, and the remainder is 1. This is the third digit. Okay, so now it is 25. Again it will go by, okay, so 10 5 is, so like this. So if you just continue, keep on repeating this one, and you will be getting all those things, guys. Okay, so all the elements you will get. So you have to do until and unless this thing is greater than 0, the whatever the dividend you are getting. Fine. So this is how you will be getting the elements of the digit. So once you get these elements, they will be stored in array list because it can grow in size, and how many digits are there, those things will be stored in array list. And after that, convert that array list into an array. That is just with the help of a for loop you can do, but you just understand that I will be getting last element first. So that's why run for loop in the reverse order on this array list. Okay, so done that thing. If you are done, then you will be having one array, and that array is something like this. Now the actual logic comes here, guys. So you will be getting the same array. So just now you have converted this to 5 and then 1, then 4, and then. So you will be getting this array. So this will be stored in one array. Let us say its name is A, guys. Now what I want to do is I just want to replace this thing with this one. So what you can do is, the key value is how much, guys? Key value is 2. So key minus 1 times you have to rotate the array towards right. So this is the answer, guys. So rotating towards key minus 1 times will give you the answer. How? I'll just show you. So you know how to rotate the array towards right. Okay, so whatever is there, you just need to rotate like this in the right. Whereas if you rotate this one, then what happens, guys? The last element will be coming to the first position. So whatever these elements are, they will be shifted by one position. So I'll just index them 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So last element will be coming to the first position. After that 2 will come to over here. After that this 5 will come over here. After that this 1 will come over here, and this 4 will come over here. So if I give the numbers for these things 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, so you can see each thing is shifted towards the right side by one position. So 2 was on the 0th index, now it is on the first index. So I have rotated one time. Now next time if I rotate again, go over here. So last element will come over here, that is 4, and these will shift towards right by 1. So 4, 3, then 2 will be coming, then 5 will be coming, and then 1 will be coming. And if you can observe, so this is what exactly I was needed. So 4, 3, 2, 5, 1 and 4, 3, 2, 5, 1. So these things are exactly matching, guys, right? So yes, you just need to rotate the array towards right side by key minus 1 times, not key times. Whatever key value they will be giving, just subtract 1 from that and rotate that many times. In the sense, I have to rotate it by 2 times in order to get the output. Got it? So this was the actual logic. I mean, once you got an array, then you need to perform this thing. Yes. So this is how you will be solving this one, and I hope you understood this logic completely, guys, because writing code is actually easy, but if you didn't understand the logic itself, then you will not understand the code whatever I'll be writing. But anyway, I think that you have understood the logic, and if you didn't, then you can reverse the video again, and you can you can just digest the explanation once again. Okay, so yes, and how you can rotate it by 2 times, you will be asking, right? So just do one thing, guys. To rotate array towards left hand side, what we will be doing, basically first copy the last element into any temp variable. Okay, so any temp variable you have to copy. After that, what I will be writing, from this I will start. So third element should go to last position. So whatever 3 is there, I have already copied. So 4 I will take, that is array of 3, and I will copy it to array of I plus 1 position. Let us say array is first pointing at this position. Okay, so array of I, that is array of 3, is equal to array of I plus 1. So array of 4 will be replaced by array of 3. That means 4 is coming over here. So after that 2 will be coming to this position. After that you have to stop the loop whenever it reaches 1. You shouldn't go to 0 because there is no element which I can take and bring it to the right hand side. So whenever it is coming to 1, you have to stop the loop. So when I consider 1 should be replaced by what? 1 should be replaced by the next element, that is 2. So after that this will be dragging here and put it over here. So whenever I will write code, you will come to understand it properly. Still more clarity will get there. Okay guys, fine. So now I will go to the VS Code, and for this also the same thing, guys. Okay, so let me just show you whatever input, output, all those things they will be giving, like buffer, string buffer reader, all those things they are giving just for the sake of their compiler. Okay, so here you need to write your code, just initialize all those things, whatever you need, whatever they are given, and start writing the code. So that's it guys, and now let me just go to the Eclipse here. Alright, so this is the test case, and now let me just open the Eclipse. Okay, fine. So once I open the Eclipse, you can see I have created already one empty project guys. Okay, so first I will take the int value, that is n equal to whatever number they have given. So they have given 2 5 then 1 4 3. So yes, this was the number they have given. 2 5 1 4 3 is the input. After that key they have given. So key is basically of integer type, and key is equal to how much? Key is equal to 3. Fine, key I have taken. After that I will initialize one string which will store my result after whatever number, whatever I have to return is that one number I have to return, so that I am returning over here. Okay, fine. So after that what I need to do, I will create one array list. So I'll just create one array list. So array list, and that name I will give it as array1, and here I will be writing again array list and open close parenthesis. Done. So this is how you can create one array list guys. Okay, fine, you have created array list. Now I will apply that logic to convert the number into a digit. So while the given n is not equal to 0, in the sense given n should not be equal to 0, so I will write like this: n is not equal to 0. As long as n is not equal to 0, you have to do one particular this thing. Okay, so what I need to do is take array1 and array1 dot add this particular thing. Array1 dot add object they are asking. So object will be n modulus 10, that is whatever number they are given, just divide it by 10, and whatever the reminder you will be getting, just add it to the array list. So this is what it meant. And now I have added the result, and I need to update the n value. So n should be equal to n divided by 10. So this will actually give the reminder guys, but this will actually divide. So this both are same, but this is giving me the reminder, but this is actually dividing the number by 10. Okay, fine. So this is done guys, and here you will be getting all these elements into the array list. So this part is done now. Once you are done with that one, now it's time to create one array. So this is array list. I need to convert that array list into array in order to perform all my operations. So for that I will create one array. So integer type, and its name will be array2, and here its size will be like new int, and its size will be whatever the size of array1. So array1 dot size. Okay, so array1 dot size will be something like this. Okay, fine, I have created one array whose name is array2. This array1 is actually array list, and array2 is actually an array. So whose size is array, whatever the size of array list is there, the same size of array2 I am creating. Fine. Now I will use one counter, which is basically used to store the elements from 0th index in the array. Okay, so now I will use one for loop to iterate through all the elements and put them into an array. So from array list I have to take the elements, and I need to put them in the array2. So from last I will be taking, because whatever the first number is there, it will be in the reverse order. So I have to run the loop in the reverse order on array list, because whatever the digit I am getting in the first position, that is the last digit. So first just see guys how I will be writing. For int I is equal to array1 dot size, array1 dot size minus 1, that is last element I will take first. After that I should be greater than or equal to 0. Up to 0 I will come, and each time I will decrement, because I am running loop in the reverse order. So here what I will be doing is basically array2 of k is equal to, so array2 of k is equal to, and here I need to write array1 of, so array1 of and I need to get that element, right? So I will be writing something like this: array1 dot get method I will run, and get of I. So basically whatever the element is there at ith position you need to take. And here it is asking for type mismatch error because this is array list and I'm trying to convert it to a array. So you have to do explicit typecasting, just add int over here. So you have to write something like this. So this means the array, whatever is there, I am converting it to the array. So this is array list, guys, and I am converting it to type array. So that's why this external typecasting is required here. Okay, so yes, and after this, what I want to do is basically I want to increment the k because it should point to the next position. So I can write like this, or k equal to k plus 1 also I can write. So both are valid. Okay, once you are done with this, guys, you just come out of this for loop, and by this time your array will be ready. That is, all the elements will be stored inside array 2. So if you want to see that output, you can check it out. For example, I'll just show you for int I is to array 2, and here I will write like this. I'm just showing you the intermediate output, guys. This is not the final one. So I plus and some space. Okay, so here I'm using println, so that's why it is printing like this. Now it will be fine. Okay, so whatever the number they have given, 25143 25,143, that I have converted it to a array, which is basically 25143. So you can see whenever I'm printing the array, I'm getting the array. Okay, fine. So up to this my program is correct, and I will just remove these things. They were just to see whether I'm getting the proper array or not. So once you got an array, guys, it's time to rotate the array by n key minus 1 number of times to the right hand side. Fine. So in order to rotate this thing, what I will be doing is, first I will write one logic which will actually rotate my array towards right hand side by a key minus 1 times. So for that, first just take one loop. Okay, so for int j is equal to 0, as it is starting from 0, I need to rotate that j here. You can see j should be less than key minus 1. So j should be less than key minus 1, and I will be writing j plus plus. So this is for iterating through key minus 1 elements. You can see k minus 1. So the loop will be running key minus 1 times here. Okay, fine. So as I said earlier in the algorithm itself, so in order to rotate, first I need to copy the last element into some temporary variable so that I can insert it at the first position whenever the rotation of other elements is done. So the same thing I will do. I will just take one temporary variable int temp equal to, here I will write array 2 of, I need to point to the last element. So array 2 of array 2 dot length minus 1, if I write, then it will be pointing to the last element. So last element is copied into a temporary variable called temp. Now I will write another for loop which will actually rotate my other elements except the last element. So here I will be starting from 0. It will not starting from 0, it will point to the last position. So as I said, last but one position I have to point. So for that I have to write array 2 dot length, array 2 dot length minus 1. So I mean in that position, in the fourth index position for this particular example, and I should be greater than or equal to 1. After that I have to write I plus plus. So this is it about the for loop, and now what I want to do is just write something like this: array 2 of I, that is array 2 of I is equal to array 2 of I minus 1. So whatever there is in the I minus 1 position, I want to copy it to the ith position. So this is basically the right shifting algorithm. So if you don't know about this one in particular, then I have already made one video, guys. You can find that in playlist or else in the description box. Okay, so first you need to do that thing. I mean, if you want to understand this one, then you should know how this actually works. But anyhow, I have told the algorithm in the beginning itself, so you should be able to understand it properly. Now what I will do, once the rotation is done, in 0th position I will insert that whatever I have copied at the beginning. Okay, so that is stored in the temp. So at 0th position you just need to copy the element which is there in the temp. Okay, so this will actually give me the our shifted version. 2 times shifted version it will give. So after shifting here it will be done, guys. Okay, fine. So now I'll just show you the shifted version of that one. So let me just write for int I and array2 inside array2. This is actually for each loop which directly iterates on the elements itself. You might be knowing this one, right? So I should be like this. So I'll just run this one and you should be able to see. Okay, fine. I got one error and let me just see that index 5 out of bounds for length 5, 31th line. Okay, so where is 31? Array 2 of I is equal to what I have written. Yes, array 2 of I minus 1, and my loop is running up to what, guys? For int array 2 dot length minus 1, and here sorry, so this should be I minus minus because I am starting the loop in reverse order. So yes, that I have to change. Now it will not come. I hope so. Yes, it is. Okay, now I'll just remove this ln so that they will come in the same line. So now you can see the shifted version of the array, and if you want to see that one, let me just show them parallelly. Okay, so they have given 25143 and you can see 43251. So here also I want 43251, but yet it is not the correct answer, guys, because whatever I am returning is it is an array, but I don't want array. I have to return the string itself because they have given number means I have to return the number itself. So that I can do with the help of another variable, that is basically the result variable, which I have initialized it to null. So that means what I'll be doing is basically concatenate the string. So I plus result I will do. So each element it will take and concatenate with result. So after that you can see whatever I am getting is basically 43251. So this is how you will be doing, guys. Okay. Yep, so this is it, guys, and yes, I think you are able to see the proper output, and let me just run it for the last time. 43251, just cross check whether I'm getting the same. 43251. So this is how you will be writing the code, guys, and yes, I think enjoy this video. So this code I'll be actually leaving in the description, guys. If you want, you can just go to my website and you can copy it from there. And also the first code whatever I have written over here, so this is also will be there in the description, or in the sense it will be there in the website. So that's it in this video, guys, and for more such videos, actually I have made a hell lot of videos over here. So you can see it is around 58 pages PDF, and all these questions whatever I have solved are from the off-campus interviews. So you can see I have included the what you can say, the screenshots here. So this is actually the hacker rank problem, guys. You can see there are like 1 hour time was given for each question. So I also, the questions were around 6 pages in length. So you can see here all these questions I have solved, guys, and I have made on playlist Java off campus coding questions, and yes, you can see a lot of questions I have solved. So for all those things I have included the screenshots, then explanation, then code in the Eclipse, then VS Code. We can see over here. So a lot of questions I have solved, guys. Okay, so just check out the playlist if you are really preparing, then it might help you a lot. Okay, so that's it in this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. So see you in the next one. Bye bye. So before leaving, I just want to make one small request, guys. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, and if it was helpful, then you just leave a comment, a beautiful line for me, and then like the video. That's it. See you in the next one. Have a nice day.